You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your website, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate Formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
We believe in the American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag because we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. Never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights. We're Americans. We fish the waters and we hunt the lands. We forge the steel with our own 2 hands. With what we've got, we do the best we can. We're Americans.
This is Rio of Madison Rising, and you're listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
It's time now for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. Now, here's Grouchy.
Good evening, everybody. Sorry for the little tardy start here, but a little bit of background technical difficulties while the commercials were running. We have it straight. We're going to get ready to roll. But before we do, I just want to remind everybody to stay tuned all night right here on KLRN Radio. Right after me, we got Jesse's POV, followed by Constitution and Culture, followed by America Off the Rails. It's even better than a grand slam. It's back-to-back-to-back-to-back home runs. You just don't see it every day, people. Wednesday night TV sucks. Do yourself a favor. Stay right here where liberty and reason still reign and get yourself educated on what's going on in the world. All right, so for tonight, tonight, this is WIRETAP. Yeah, you may have seen it out there, and want to thank artist Angie for the artwork. Angie, that was absolutely splendid. I had no idea you had put that together when I asked. When I asked, I knew, but when I threw the idea out, everybody said, "Oh, have you seen Angie's work?" I was like, "No, I haven't." So I went and saw your work, and I was like, "Oh my God, I gotta have it, gotta have it." Thank you, Angie, the sweet teen ninja, coming through with the artwork. Now, as usual, I am over prepped. I have more than we will ever make it through on this wiretap issue because, of course, when I talk, this is wiretap. We have to understand what the wiretap is, how it could have happened, and that means we have to go through FISA. So you need to know what a FISA warrant is, you need to know what a FISA court is, and you need to know what the FISA laws are. We're going to go through all this tonight, and then we're going to tie it all into this story of the accusation that Donald Trump made that Barack Obama tapped his Trump Tower offices. Now, I know some of you are out there saying, it's not an accusation, he did it. Well, you know what? I've seen some compelling circumstantial evidence, but I have yet to see hard facts. And until I see hard facts, this is still in the gray area. Okay? Not that I'm going anti-Trump on this or I'm going anti-Obama on this. I want to go pro-fact. And that's always the difference with me. So, as we get ready to kick this thing off, there's things you got to know about this. This story itself, it's beyond 10.
These go to 11.
Yes, these go to 11. And we're just going to go where this follows, and eventually we're going to they're demanding investigations. We're going to find out what happened or what didn't happen to some degree anyway. We may not be able to find out the whole story. And if we are unable to find out the whole story, then, you're going to be left to your own devices on whether you believe what happened or not. I know how I personally feel, but again, it's not about our feelings. It's supposed to be about facts. It's not what you know, as the lawyers say. It's what you can prove. So anyway, we are going to do this. And I have another, where is it? What have I done with my sound bites? This is why I should have a full-time producer, so I can't screw this stuff up. Nothing against the part-time producer, because he's full-time tons of other things. He doesn't have time for me. It just is what it is. Anyway, okay. I'll find it eventually, and we'll get back to it. But for right now, we have President Trump throwing out the equivalent of our rhetorical multi-megaton nuclear bombs into our nation's political discourse. In a series of tweets, Trump accused former President Barack Obama of wiretapping his Trump Tower offices during the election cycle. While it is unknown if Obama himself ordered a wiretap of equipment in the Manhattan skyscraper, it has been reported that a FISA warrant was requested over the course of the campaign for equipment in the building. Trump's series of tweets, there's been a lot of misinformation about the FISA court and the threshold that is necessary to obtain a warrant from the court. Here's what we know about the claims and how it relates to the FISA courts. On November 7th, 2016, the day before the 2016 general election, Heat Street released a bombshell report that a FISA warrant was issued for a server in Trump Tower. Now, two separate sources with links to the counterintelligence community have confirmed that the FBI sought and was granted a FISA court warrant in October, giving counterintelligence permission to examine the activities of U.S. persons in Donald Trump's campaign with ties to Russia. Now, first of all, if you are unfamiliar with FISA, that would be the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. Okay, so this is not supposed to happen to U.S. citizens. There's a different mechanism for that. So in January, National Review picked up on the story with former U.S. Attorney Andrew McCarthy offering his take. McCarthy explained that as a terrorist prosecutor, he often argued against the wall, separating the FBI's counterintelligence division and the criminal investigative division. Now, McCarthy leads with the idea that FISA could be used against political enemies always seemed far-fetched but it might not be so far-fetched now. That leads to the question, what is the FISA court and how is it different than a regular criminal court? Well, unlike the misconception proffered by Howard Dean, the FISA court was not set up after 9/11 by George Bush. According to the Department of Justice, the Foreign Intelligence Service Court was established by the Foreign Intelligence Act of 1978. Now, here's how the Department of Justice describes it. Okay, so like Title III of the Omnibus Crime Control and Safe Streets Act of 1968, otherwise known as the WIRETAP Act, the FISA legislation was the result of congressional investigations into federal surveillance activities conducted in the name of national security. Through FISA, Congress sought to provide judicial and congressional oversight of foreign intelligence surveillance activities while maintaining the secrecy necessary to effectively monitor national security threats. FISA was initially in 1978 and sets out procedures for physical and electronic surveillance and collection of foreign intelligence information. Initially, FISA addressed only electronic surveillance, but has been significantly amended over the years to address the use of pen registers and trap and trace devices, physical searches, and business records. FISA also established the United States Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, a special U.S. federal court that holds non-public sessions to consider issuing search warrants under the FISA. Proceedings before the FISC are ex parte, meaning the government is the only party present. Okay, so this is a shadowy operation to begin with. And okay, I get that there's a reason for that, at least at times. I do. I get it. But did you notice through the legal description from the Department of Justice as to what FISA and the FISA are, what you heard over and over is foreign intelligence, foreign surveillance. That is the whole theme behind the FISA Act. Now, unless somebody on Trump's campaign team was a foreign national working a United States election, I don't see how FISA would be applicable to Trump's campaign and its personnel. Now, is it possible that they were speaking to somebody that FISA would apply to? Yes, that's always a possibility. But again, you're really getting into a wildly fetched story at this point, I guess. So anyway, let's press on. There are currently 11 members of the FISC. They are appointed for set terms. Oh, imagine that. They have set terms, much like our Supreme Court should have. And also hold judgeships in other federal courts. That's interesting. So they're actually duly tasked. Judges were appointed to their district courts by both Republican and Democratic presidents, and FISC judges are appointed to the court by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. The narrative from the left has quickly morphed from denial that the Obama administration wiretapped Trump Tower to an admonishment that if a wiretap did happen, it was after a FISA court warrant. So now they're trying to actually defend their position as opposed to deny it. So we know, well, we don't know, but we're assuming that, something at Trump Tower was tapped at this point via a FISA warrant. The left has further stated that if a warrant was issued, then it must have been because probable cause was found to give the warrant. Now, that was David Axelrod's assertion. You know, that it must have had probable cause if there was a warrant. So if there were the wiretap that President Trump is alleging, such an extraordinary warrant would only have been okayed by a court for a reason. Again, Axelrod. But that's not how FISA warrants are given. Here's the process for what happens in the FISA court to get a FISA warrant. Okay? Electronic surveillance procedures dictates that establish procedures for the conduct of foreign intelligence surveillance and created the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. The Department of Justice must apply to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court to obtain a warrant authorizing electronic surveillance of foreign agents. Foreign agents. For targets that are U.S. persons, U.S. citizens, permanent resident aliens, and U.S. corporations, FISA requires heightened requirements. Unlike domestic criminal surveillance warrants issued under Title III of the Omnibus Crime Control and Safe Streets Act of 1968, agents need to demonstrate probable cause to believe that the target of the surveillance is a foreign power or agent of a foreign power, that a significant purpose of the surveillance is to obtain foreign intelligence information, and that appropriate minimization procedures are in place per U.S. Code 50, Section 1804. Agents do not need to demonstrate that commission of a crime is imminent, and for purposes of FISA, agents of foreign powers include agents of foreign political organizations and groups engaged in international terrorism, as well as agents of foreign nations. There you have it. They don't have to prove that a crime is imminent or has been committed. This low bar, and it is a low bar, in almost all warrant requests being granted by the FISC in 2013, let's see, reports are that they had rejected only 0.03% of all requests made. Now, McCarthy further explained in his January piece how a FISA warrant differs from a criminal court warrant. The theory of the Clinton DOJ brass imposing the wall was the potential that a rogue criminal investigator lacking sufficient evidence to obtain a traditional wiretap would manufacture a national security angle in order to get a wiretap under the Foreign Surveillance or Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. A traditional wiretap requires evidence amounting to probable cause of commission of a crime. A FISA wiretap requires no such evidence, just evidence amounting to probable cause that the target of the wiretap is an agent of a foreign power. This goes back to what I was talking about. Who in Trump's campaign would be considered a foreign power? Other than maybe Reince. I mean, come on, really. But at this point, Reince was not part of the team. So the reason the wall theory was absurd was that a rogue agent would surely manufacture evidence of a crime before he'd manufacture a national security angle. The process of getting a traditional wiretap is straightforward. FBI Criminal Division agent, District Assistant U.S. Attorney writes a supporting affidavit. It gets approved by the AUSA supervisors. Then it is submitted to the Justice Department's Electronic Surveillance Unit. After that unit's approval, the Attorney General's designee signs off. Then the AUSA and the FBI present the application to a district judge. FISA wiretaps, by contrast, go through a completely different, more difficult and remote chain of command. In it, the district AUSA and FBI Criminal Division agents who started the investigation get cut out of the process, which is taken over by Maine Justice's National Security Division and the FBI's national security agents. In other words, if we assume an agent is inclined to be a rogue, it would be far easier and less likely of detection to trump up evidence of a crime in order to satisfy the probable cause standard for a traditional wiretap than to manufacture a national security threat in order to get a FISA wiretap. No rational rogue would do that. McCarthy described is that a FISA warrant is easier to obtain and that the Clinton Department of Justice set up a wall between counterintelligence officers and the criminal division to ensure that a rogue FBI agent unable to demonstrate probable cause would be able to obtain a FISA warrant to circumvent the criminal courts. If the Obama administration went to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court for a FISA warrant, that is exactly what seemingly happened. All right. Yeah, I know. It's all gobbledygook, right? This is good stuff, though. And you'll have to forgive me. This is part-time for me, so this is fun for me. I enjoy doing this. But I was unable to work on this after Monday, so I know there's been more information since lunchtime Monday to the end of Wednesday. I just don't have that in front of me at this time. I will get it because there will definitely be a follow-up on this. You can bank on that. So while we will not definitively know that if there was or was not a FISA warrant until it is released to the public, it is important to know the facts surrounding the court to parse the statements being made by the left and the right, because we want the truth. We don't care where it comes from. We just want the truth. Now, these claims by Trump were the most striking claims that he's made to date, talking about accusing former President Obama of wiretapping him. First, Mr. Obama's spokesman, then the former U.S. intelligence chief James Clapper denied any wiretap had been ordered. But we now know other people in the administration are defending a FISA warrant. But President Trump has said that via his press secretary, he has said, that'd be Sean Spicer, has urged Congress to investigate the quote-unquote troubling claims alongside its current investigations into the allegations of Russian hacking during the election. Now, FBI Director James Comey has reportedly denied the allegation and asked U.S. Justice Department to reject it. He is said to have asked for the correction because it falsely insinuates that the FBI knowingly broke the law. The New York Times and later NBC quoted officials saying that Mr. Comey believed there was no evidence to support Mr. Trump's allegation. That would be President Trump, Mr. Comey. The Justice Department did not issue any immediate statement. So what are the congressional committees already looking at? Well, both House and Senate Intelligence Committees are currently looking into the possibility of Russian interference during the 2016 election. These inquiries were launched in January. They've promised wide-ranging investigations carried out on a bipartisan basis, which will not shy away from looking into the potential links between the Trump campaign and the Kremlin, as well as Russian cyber activity. Now, the FBI has already come out and said they had found no evidence of ties between Trump's campaign and Russia interference. So I'm not sure what else there is for them to look at, but I'm sure that we'll all end up hearing about it sooner or later. Both committees have conceded that these will be time-consuming investigations, and at least one member of the House Intelligence Committee has expressed his annoyance at another layer being added. Is there any evidence? Well, President Trump and his team have provided no evidence to say the phones at Trump Tower were wiretapped. And, of course, we know that Obama's people are categorically denying this because they would all instantly be going to jail. As the former intelligence director, Clapper, told NBC, he would have known about a FISA court order on something like this. Yeah, I mean, Clapper's the same guy that lied to Congress. You think he won't lie to you? Come on. Let's be real here. This is a reference to the U.S. Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, which can grant wiretaps on national security issues. Could Obama have ordered the surveillance? Well, Mr. Obama's team has outright denied any involvement, saying that President Trump's tweets are simply false. Again, Axelrod's comments, if the warning existed, it most likely would have been ordered by the Department of Justice independently of the White House. So we've already got some under the bus throw going on here. Former Press Secretary Josh Earnest told ABC, this may come as a surprise to the current occupant of the Oval Office, but the President of the United States does not have the authority to unilaterally order the wiretapping of an American citizen. Okay, let's just stop here for a minute. Does anybody really believe, that if a United States president wanted somebody wiretapped, that they couldn't get that done without going through the FISC to obtain a FISA warrant? Do you really think that a sitting president couldn't get a wiretap done? People, it happens at the local yokel police department level from time to time. You hear about it. You hear about cops that end up having cases thrown out of court because they illegally tap the wires. They do it without going to court and getting their warrant with evidence. So, yeah, while there's a case to be said for a sitting president does not have the authority, okay, yes, that in and of itself is true. But to sit there and suggest that a sitting president couldn't get a wiretap done at his whim is ridiculous. The only way, Ernest continued, that Mr. Obama could have ordered surveillance without going through the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court is if there was no U.S. citizens involved. Yeah, okay. In this case, considering the target is allegedly Trump Tower, which definitely involves American citizens, this would have been hard to argue. All right, folks. We're a little past the bottom of the hour. I know we started late. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to dig a little deeper into what the FISA court actually is and what they do. Stay tuned. It only gets better.
America, you and me, ain't that America? Something to see, baby, ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your website, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous?
Oh, but ain't that America? You and me, ain't that America? Something to see, baby, ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah.
Oh, this is special too, see? Look, see? Still got the old tagger on it. See, never even played it. See?
You just bought it?
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
I wasn't going to touch it.
No, don't touch it.
I was just pointing at it.
Well, don't point even.
Don't even point?
No, it can't be played. Never. I mean,
Can I look at it?
No, you've seen enough of that one.
That's right. You've seen enough, right? God, I love that movie. So, all right, we're back. Just a quick reminder, top of the hour, Jesse's POV, followed by Constitution and Culture, followed by America Off the Rails. It is the back-to-back home run night on KLRN Radio for conservative talk. Stay tuned. When we left off, we were going to dive into a little deeper. What is the FISA court? Well, the FISA court may be the most powerful court you've never heard of. The secretive court approves surveillance warrants under FISA against agents of a foreign power, mainly to either the FBI or the NSA. Ooh, I've been to the NSA. Yes. Taught their agents how to do things I'm not allowed to talk about. So, anyway, true story.
You can't have been to the NSA. It stands for no such agency.
You are correct, sir, and I can neither confirm nor deny where it might or might not exist. But that is a true story. I have been there, and I have trained them to do things, and that's all I can say. My security clearance forbids further talking about it. In this case, the report says that a target of the FBI application is 2 Russian banks. Any application has to be approved by one of 11 sitting judges. So where did this wiretap come from? Rumors of an order granted under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act have been circulating for some time. On November 11th, the day before the country went to the polls, former British MP Louise Mensch reported the order was approved in October. According to Ms. Mensch, it was issued in connection with a private survey and activity between 2 Russian banks. Now, during a lengthy appearance on Fox and Friends Sunday morning, conservative radio host. I don't know. You guys may have heard of this dude. I think he's a backbencher, but anyway, Mark Levin explained why he thinks former President Barack Obama undoubtedly spied on then presidential candidate Donald Trump during last year's campaign. Levin spent the first handful of minutes, nearly half the interview, laying out the evidence for why he believes Obama is guilty, including reading reports directly from the mainstream media outlets like the New York Times, the Washington Post, McClatchy, and The Guardian. And when Fox News host Pete Hegseth tried to move on, Levin interrupted him and said, "I need to make the case because the media seems to be confused about their own reporting." According to Levin, the evidence is clear. Now, this is his quote. "The issue isn't whether the Obama administration spied on the Trump campaign or the transition of certain surrogates. The issue is the extent of it. The evidence is overwhelming," he continued. Now, he also went on to say, "They were so aggressive, they waited 4 or 5 months. They go back in October, weeks before the general election. They narrow their request. All of a sudden, we have leaks coming out on Michael Flynn. Then we have, oh, horrible meeting that took place between Attorney General Jeff Sessions and so forth." And Levin went on to say, "As former chief of staff to a United States Attorney General in the Reagan administration, these are police state tactics." Now, what did Barack Obama know? He knew everything, according to Levin. "I just read you a part from one of 2 articles. You want to know how I know? It's in the newspapers. It's right there." So Barack Obama not only knew this, but he gets a daily intelligence briefing. I somehow find it hard to believe that the president would allow his illegal wiretap to be briefed to him during his daily intelligence briefing. But, I mean, again, I don't know all the insides, so I'm just speculating on what I can see from the outside. Later in the interview, Levin emphasized that the case he just previously laid out against the Obama administration wasn't of his doing, but of the mainstream press. He just pieced it together. Then he defended Trump. Donald Trump is the victim, he said. His campaign is the victim. His transition team is the victim. His surrogates are the victims. These are, again, police state tactics. He reiterated his chief of staff position. If this had been done to Barack Obama, he said, all hell would break loose. And Barack Obama's statement on the wiretapping allegations is just pathetic. Now, moving forward to get to the bottom of these allegations, Levin suggested that the 2 FISA court warrant requests from the Obama administration need to be released, in addition to the daily presidential intelligence briefings from the past year being released to Congress. There ought to be public hearings on this stuff too, he said. So here we go. Now here's something that's troubling, okay? Because through all of our explanations as to what a FISA warrant is and what it's supposed to cover, and what the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court is and what it's supposed to encompass, here's a comment from Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon. And he told Congress last week, more and more Americans are getting swept up in these FISA searches. Okay, he's got a concern here, and I think that it's a legitimate concern. You know, he said we're trying to legitimately go after foreign targets that are a threat to us, but as telecommunications systems become globally integrated, we're getting more and more law-abiding citizens swept up. Now, Wyden was speaking at the confirmation hearing for former Senator Dan Coates, nominated to serve as Director of National Security in the current administration. At the same hearing, both Coates and Republican Senator John Cornyn gave a spirited defense of the law that President Trump now claims against him. At the February 28th hearing of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, Wyden told Coates, "You have said that if you're confirmed, the reauthorization of Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act would be your top legislative priority." Wyden continued, "For years, I and members of Congress have been asking for an estimate of how many innocent, law-abiding Americans' communications are getting swept up in this collection. Will you commit to getting this number to this committee and to the public before reauthorization?" Coates replied, "Yes, I do. I am going to do everything I can to work with Admiral Rogers and NSA to get you that number. I've been told it's an extremely complex process for a number of reasons. As I said, without classification, I don't know what all these reasons are." Coates earlier explained that he had only recently received his security clearance, so he had not had time to go into the full depth of what he was being asked yet. He said, "I need to learn what they are, but I also need to share with Admiral Rogers the need, I think, to get this committee that information, and not just those numbers, but all the information we need in which to make a judgment as to the reauthorization." The intelligence community believes reauthorization is extremely important. It's a program that's provided a significant amount of intelligence relative to what foreign agents or individuals are trying to do to harm Americans, they say. And so, it has layers of oversight at all three levels of government. It has been examined by the Privacy Civil Liberties Board, Overseeing Board, and supported by the FISA Court. But this is something that you will be going through during the next year, and we want to make sure you have all of the information you feel you need to make adjustments that Congress decides to make. Wyden then asked Coates, "So you will commit to making sure we have the number of innocent Americans being swept up before the reauthorization? You will commit to declassifying any secret legal interpretations related to FISA as well?" Coates said he would, as long as declassification would not expose sensitive sources and methods. So there you have it. You have some bipartisan support for getting the information and for pushing forward with reauthorization. Now, later in the hearing, Senator John Cornyn, Republican from Texas, followed up on Wyden's line of questioning about the number of Americans swept up in this and said, "First of all, it is illegal to target American citizens, correct?" And that is correct, of course, without a search warrant, Cornyn added, and that is also correct. So he's these guys are stating the obvious for the obvious so that people like us, I guess, would know. So what we're talking about primarily is targeting foreign intelligence persons overseas. Section 702 is specifically designed for that purpose, Coates said. Cornyn then said the director of the FBI recently referred to Section 702 as the crown jewels of the Intelligence Committee. Would you agree with that characterization? Which Coates did, yada, yada, mutual appreciation going on right here. Cornyn said he doesn't want the debate over reauthorization of Section 702 to get caught up in the same sort of hysteria where some people were worried that their government was spying on them when that decidedly was untrue. But that's history, he added. A week later, it's no longer history. It's the current mainstream news flood. Now, Cornyn continued that he wants people to understand that people aren't targeted, even foreign agents overseas, without court approval. And there is judicial review from time to time, as well as oversight and review by both the executive branch, the intelligence community, and Congress. There are layers of protection to make sure that no American has to worry about their own government spying on them. Okay, so let's stop right here for a second. If there's all these layers of protection, okay, and I'm not doubting that that is actually what is written into the law. But if all these layers of protection exist and there's oversight by the executive branch and Congress and the courts, why wouldn't President Trump have the authority to say, show me those warrants right now? As executive branch, he has that oversight capability, according to what Senator Cornyn is saying here. So why not just put your damn foot down and say, show it to me now? Just something to think about. Cornyn then asked Coates to work with Congress to educate Americans, us dumb Americans, so that they can be reassured that Section 702 is striking the balance between privacy rights and national security, and to which Coates obviously agreed. Coates noted that we are under attack, and 702 is designed to go after foreign bad guys. It's lawful collection. In that process, there is some incidental, what is called incidental names of Americans, potential names of Americans. Some bad guy might have on his laptop the names of 40 Americans. And so if he's targeted for something, all of a sudden 40 American names, now we put a process in place in devising this law that there is a minimization of this. I'm not even sure what the hell that's supposed to mean. But, you know, this is political double talk going on here. So, you know, bear with it. I'm sorry. I'm finding it harder and harder these days to trust any of them. I don't care what letter comes after their name. And I hate sounding like that. I really do. I hate not being able to trust my government. But they've earned some distrust. So again, they reiterated that the level of oversight is here in all three branches of government, and it's significant to try to secure those privacies. Coates continued that we need to ensure that the public is not led into a situation where they think they're in deference to my colleague from Oregon, sweeping up, collecting information about them. We're trying to sort it out so we can find out if that bad guy in Syria or wherever is talking to someone in the United States. We kind of want to know what they're talking about if that's the case. So, there you have what's going on. Now, are we even close? Heck no. I still got 5 more pages of notes here that we could plow through, but certainly not in 7 minutes. So we're going to do the short version here, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. Now, here's an interesting statistic, and you know I like my facts, so stats are important to me. Over the last 6 years, public record 2010 through 2015, those are the 6 years we're looking at. I say the last 6, it's not the last 6, but from 2010 to 2015, 6-year period, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court received 9,400 government submissions for conducting electronic surveillance for foreign intelligence purposes under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. Now, these are according to the public reports filed by the United States Department of Justice. Of the 9,400 submissions, they turned down 0 in the last 6 years. 0. The last time that the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court denied an electronic surveillance application under FISA was 2009. That year, the court denied one application outright and denied another in part. This is the latest annual report from the Justice Department to Congress on the disposition of FISA requests that was delivered on April 28, 2016, signed by then Assistant Attorney General Peter Kadzik. It covers calendar year 2015. Excuse me. This report provides information regarding all applications made by the government during calendar year 2015 for authority to conduct electronic surveillance for foreign intelligence purposes under the Act, Kadzik says in the first paragraph of the report. This annual report and those going back to 1996 are available at DOJ's online Freedom of Information Act library. So you can look it up just like I did. You know, I always, if you listen to my show more than once, you've heard me say it. Don't just take my word for it. I love facts and I dig for facts, but you need to do your own homework. It's important that you connect the dots for you. Don't let anybody connect your dots for you. You show me two people that agree 100% of the time, I'll show you one that does all the thinking. Do your own homework. Although the court denied none of the government's applications for electronic surveillance under FISA from 2010 through 2015, the court did modify some of those it approved, and the government withdrew some of those it submitted. 2010 to 2015, government submitted a total of 9,400 applications to the FISC seeking the authority to conduct electronic surveillance. Of those 9,400, the court approved 9,391, and the government withdrew 9. The court also modified 217 of those it approved, and it denied none. In July of 2013, a letter to then Senate Judiciary Chairman Patrick Leahy, we all know Patrick, right? Judge Reggie Walton, then the court's presiding judge, explained why the court approved such a high rate of government applications to conduct electronic surveillance under FISA. The administration and the court go through a consultation process that starts when the administration submits a proposed application to the court's staff. Now, we're 3 minutes to the top of the hour. There's no way we're going to be able to blow through that procedure. So, folks, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping it up tonight. I hope you learned a little something about what is and isn't possible through the FISA courts, through the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court under the FISA Act. The way the law is written, the way the oversight is put in place, what is supposed to be legally possible versus what may have actually happened. Are there end runs to get around this act? Yes, there are. Mark Levin laid out a compelling case. It may or may not be factual at this point. We're going to have to wait and see. It's all fluid. It's all still unfolding. We're going to stick with this story for a while. You know, not every week, week in, week out, maybe quick updates here and there. But anyway, you get the idea. So again, right coming up here in just a few minutes, you got Jesse's POV on KLRN Radio, followed by Constitution and Culture, followed by America Off the Rail. It is the quintessential night for conservative talk radio on the interwebs. Do yourself a favor and stay tuned. If you like tonight's show, tell your friends. If your friends like the show, you probably need some new friends. But they and you are welcome here as part of the G Nation every Wednesday night. And this is show 92, by the way, on the drive to 100. I got something special coming up for 100. I'm not going to tip my hat just yet, but it's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of fun on 100. So mark that down. It's not going to be statistics, I promise you. It's going to be real fun. Folks, thank you for being here. God bless you. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Oh, but ain't that America? You and me. Ain't that America? Something to see, baby. Ain't that America?